Hello, everyone. We have my audio. We don't have Pertuset's audio, though, so give me a second. Okay, now we should have Pertuset's audio.
Audience. Hi.
There we go. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties, as per usual, with the start of each stream. But yeah, no. Welcome back to Ooms.
Yeah.
We're Oomin now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we might as well just get back into it. We left off last week on a particularly action-packed sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So here's hoping this time we'll just get right back into the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, with the witch, the former Beatrice and the current Beatrice. The Beatrice of today versus the Beatrice of history.
I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry.
I
Also, I'll give you the same disclaimer I gave Levi. I just got back off of work. I have food sitting in front of me that I want to eat, and I have not eaten in like 6 or 7 hours. So I'm going to mute and try to eat. But
Which
if
is
you
why
hear
we're going
crunching,
into a scene where he has 3 characters that more than likely are going to talk.
No! Watch it, it's probably going to be like freaking Ava or something.
It's going to be Ava, Kraus, and, oh, what's her name? The third one. Woman.
The third one.
Everyone hates her. She's the mom.
Oh, Rosa.
This. Yeah, Rosa. I was going to go to the...
Rosa Umineko.
Yes, Rosa Umineko. It's going to be those 3, the 3 that you are.
Yeah. But not Kraus, Rudolph. You're Kraus.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm Kraus. You're Rudolph. For some reason, I really have trouble mixing up their names. And
It's
I
okay,
don't know
the men
why.
aren't important in this series.
Except for Kenzo. And Battler.
Well, no, I'm kidding. No.
Anyways.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna mute, but if like suddenly a character that I voice appears and you hear Munchin suddenly, I'm sorry.
There would have been no way to tell that morning had come without opening a window and looking up at the cloudy sky, which had become a tiny bit lighter. It wasn't a refreshing morning. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, which hadn't stopped falling since last night, and the howl of the wind. You're in luck for just a little bit longer. But It's hard to imagine that it's morning. This horrible weather speaks for our hearts.
Hey, it could be worse. At least it's just rain and not spears falling from the sky. Looking at you, Hideyoshi.
Like that stuff I saw 5 minutes ago. Meme's dead. Joke's done. That was a last stream meme. Whether it's rain or spears, it's coming down with a bang. Is it already 6 o'clock? Isn't this enough? After this, we've got no measures we can take till the mystery 19th person Beatrice makes her move. True. However, I believe we have anticipated every trick they might use against us.
Give me a minute.
Yeah? Oh. Eva has been stuffing her face.
I literally saw Kraus and I was like, oh, I bet Natsuhi's gonna be next. I can probably take a big bite. So I stuffed my mouth full and then I was like, uh-oh.
Kraus had all the servants bring him breakfast.
Yeah. That's right. As long as a traitor doesn't appear among the siblings, we should be able to deal with most situations. They were literally sitting here being like, okay, but what if Beatrice does this?
Yeah. Until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
No sleep.
Haven't we talked about this enough? We've stayed up all night. I'm tired. That's too dang bad, Rosa.
You're right. How about taking a little rest after eating breakfast? A good plan. Staying up all night is trying at our age. As they all stretched, they enjoyed this unrefreshing morning as best they could.
I'll go wash my face or something. I probably look horrible.
Is this the part where they find dead bodies and they're like, what? Dead people? Yup. Huh?
Yeah.
What is that awful stench? As soon as they exited into the corridor, Kyrie openly made a disgusted expression. What is it? Hey, don't you smell something awful?
Ugh, what is this stench? I can't stand it.
After hearing those complaints, everyone stuck their heads out into the corridor. The stench was faint, but once people started commenting on it, it was clearly noticeable. It's fried grandpappy. Each of them went into the corridor, relying on their own sense of smell to tell them where this strange odor was coming from. What in the world could it be? Let us have Genji deal with it. I believe he should already have arrived in the servant room to begin the morning preparations. Indeed, please do. At the very least, it's difficult to imagine Goda making a breakfast that would cause such an odor. Rudolph and the others searched for the source of the smell and determined that it was coming from underground, from the boiler room. So, if this is Kenzo again, then it's heavily implied that in the first episode, Kenzo did not die by getting shoved into the furnace, but that he immolated first, and then Beatrice put him in the furnace, even though the same effect would have happened by just shoving him into the furnace. Good to know. Key sound effect? But the door was locked, and they couldn't check inside. At the same time, when Nazi's group was on its way to search for someone in the servant room, they noticed something strange near the parlor. What is this? Rosa Umineko? Oh no.
What a horrible prank. Who would do something like this?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You already know when they call it a prank what it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be.
It looks like red paint or something.
Yeah. Is it ketchup? On the door to the parlor, drawn in a paint that looked like blood, was a strange thing.
Okay,
that
I'm
looked
gonna
like
throw
a
away my
magic
plate and then I'm
circle.
good and done.
Okay, you're good. Take your time. Now it's just you and me, audience, for like the next 10 seconds. Honestly, I did not expect that episode 3 was going to end up with all of the adults alive first. I thought it was going to follow the same pattern of it being like one adult each, and I thought this was going to be the Eva episode, but no, here we are. They're all alive.
I'm back. Whew. But yeah. Oh, it's Ava already. I was gonna say, first off, I was starving, but secondly, I laughed very hard when you said fried grandpappy, but you couldn't hear it because I was muted. And thirdly, you're thinking about the incinerator or whatever you want to call it is close, but you need to do it backwards.
Huh?
But anyway.
Flip the chessboard around.
Yeah. There's no one in the kitchen yet. What is that?
Did she teleport the furnace fire into him? I'll stop asking questions.
You're getting closer.
I'll think about it on my own time.
There you go.
Ava's group, who thought the smell might be coming from the kitchen, had returned after confirming that no one was there and that preparations for breakfast had not yet begun. Then, they noticed the change to the parlor.
It's useless. The boiler room's locked. Wouldn't that be bad if something went wrong with the boiler? Has anyone spotted a servant?
The boiler.
The only way this family would notice if their servants were dead is if they couldn't get
Have
something
breakfast.
from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is one of those vulgar scribbles here, too? There was another one on the door to the boiler room.
What's that? This creepy scribble isn't just here, but it's in other places too?
You don't think this is the Witch of the Forest, Beatrice's declaration of war, do ya? Hideyoshi tried to make fun of it. But staring at this creepy magic circle while listening to the wind and rain really made it seem like a message from a witch. The dripping, bright red paint made one think of blood, which made it even creepier. It probably just is blood.
It might in fact be blood.
You
People
do
know
this
what
every
it is.
time. You've done this for 3 episodes now, being like, oh my god, creepy red paint. It's not blood,
Guys,
but it looks like
What
blood.
if it was blood?
Yeah. Hideyoshi tried to open the door, but it had been locked. As a general rule, the parlor wasn't locked. Someone had gone out of their way to lock it. All the servant bodies are going to be piled in the parlor.
Yeah. What does this mean? Could it be that while we were talking in the dining hall, someone secretly left this scribble that looks like it's made of paint on the doors to the parlor and the boiler room? I'm sure the servants are behind this. We were together the whole time. We all have alibis.
It's wild to me that not a single time did one of them need to use the restroom.
They weren't allowed. You can see it now. Hideyoshi, I need to use the bathroom. Sit down.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
in your pants.
Yeah.
You're embarrassing me. No. They probably received some strange order from father and pulled this prank. And there's also the case. Yeah,
I don't know. Go.
I just stared at my microphone. Oh, what a scuff start. Okay. And there's also the case yesterday of Maria Chan's letter. It's really easy to suspect that the servants are acting on Dad's orders and planning something. Anyway, where is everyone? They can't be playing hide and seek. Let's look for them. But before that, I'm worried about the children. They are safe, right? I'll go and check, and while I'm there, I'll see if there aren't any servants there. Then let's split up. While you go to the guest house to see how the brats are doing, we'll investigate inside the mansion. I don't want to think about it, but maybe these creepy magic circles aren't just in the places we found them already.
We might be wrapped up in some bizarre game of fathers. I will go to him and hear the situation. Though, I doubt he'll obediently listen to me.
As long as they're working together, I don't care what they have to tell themselves what's going on.
True. The adults split up. As a result, they confirmed that the 4 children were safe in the so-called cousins' room on the 2nd floor of the guest house. They had apparently stayed up late last night playing. All of them were snoring loudly, so Rosa decided not to wake them. Is this going to be an adult-only episode for a while?
And Nanjo.
Furthermore, Nanjo, who had returned early the previous night to rest, was also safe. It seemed he believed in the phrase, early to bed, early to rise, and had awoken refreshed. During that time, Kyrie and Hideyoshi searched for the servants, but they didn't find them. The servant room in the guest house was also empty.
The children are safe. They all stayed up too late last night.
The servant room is empty. I looked at the shift chart and the morning shift begins at 6 o'clock. They should have started working by now.
And the nap room is also empty. There's a nap room?
Nap room? Holy moly.
There were signs that a futon had been slept in, but it wasn't warm.
Hey, isn't everyone's reasoning right on this? This is probably a game Father set up. He must have left those creepy scribbles and hid himself somewhere, trying to make us do something.
Are you saying he's trying to see who's fit to succeed his wealth and the headship? Isn't that a bit...
No. It might not be strange if Father was behind something like that.
After all, Father loves doing things on a big scale. This might have been a finely tuned plan starting as far back as when the epitaph was hung in the hall.
Now Hideyoshi's starting to think with chessboards.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I wonder if they'll give us an announcement of the game or some explanation of it. It certainly would be nice if an envelope with the crest like the one handed to Maria-chan were to appear.
That's right. Maybe Nissan and the rest have found something like that in the mansion.
Dr. Nanjo, have you heard anything about this?
My apologies. I have no idea what is going on. And yet, yes, certainly. I could easily imagine Kinzo-san planning something on a big scale.
Shouldn't we go back to the mansion for now? Maybe they found something over there.
If I won't be in the way, I shall go too.
I'll stay here. The children are sleeping upstairs. We don't know what's happening. We cannot leave them alone.
That's right. I'll stay with Rosa-san and watch over the place. Would you tell that to my husband? Rosa and Kirye remained in the guest house. Hideyoshi went with Nanjo and returned again to the mansion.
Me, anytime I first wake up on Rokkenjima. Where's Nanjo? Is he safe? Is he alright?
Oh wait, I just skipped that, wait!
No.
At the same time, in the mansion. In a way that was hard to believe, or maybe we should say, in a way that gave him a bad feeling, Rudolph's prediction was spot on. The same magic circle graffiti that had been drawn on the doors to the boiler room and the parlor had been found in multiple places throughout the mansion.
Aniki, how's Dad?
It was no use. I received no response. I tried putting my ear against the door, but I couldn't sense anyone.
There's no sign of any of the servants. Where in the world did they disappear to?
Unionized. This isn't funny. Father and the servants are hiding, and there are strange magic circles all over the mansion.
That's Battler's next ploy, is the servants unionized, they kidnap Kenzo. They...
Yeah. Oh. What in the world is happening? Nanjo's a scab.
There weren't only magic circles on the door to the boiler room and the door to the parlor. There were 2 on the 2nd floor, and 1 on the 3rd floor, for a total of 5. We've only ever seen 2, 3, or 2
Of
at a
this
time.
particular magic circle, we've only ever seen 1.
We've only ever seen 1, but I'm talking like how many we've seen in one sitting.
I think is 2. Let me double
2?
check.
Yeah. Because we've seen this one, and then we've also seen the one that's kind of like door-shaped.
Yes.
And I don't remember any others. They were all the same. Oh, okay, so this is 5 of this one. Okay, I did not
Yeah.
realize that. They were all the same magic circle, and all of the doors had been locked, so they couldn't check inside the rooms. And if I remember correctly from episode 1, Maria said this is the one that lets you bypass obstacles. So, like, go through a door if it's locked.
It frees the user from their bonds. So, supposedly. Anyway, let's do something about the boiler room first. It'd be bad if something broke down and caught fire or exploded. So we need the key.
It should be in the key box in the servant room.
Okay, no. If you count the scorpion circle, which was on Maria's notebook, then we've actually seen 4 before.
Okay.
Because there was also one in Kinzo's study in the first game.
Mm.
That looks like the Triforce.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
So there's the one we always see at the beginning every time that has like a weird plus, like Celtic cross almost.
Mhm.
The one that looks like a door, the Scorpion, and the Triforce.
Okay, that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
They fished through that key box. Because each of the servants carried their master keys around, those weren't kept in there. However, all of the individual keys should have been there.
I can't believe they managed to fit so many keys in there.
It isn't here. No matter how much we look, the key to the boiler room isn't here. Look, Aneki, only the keys to the rooms with those magic circles drawn on them are totally missing.
It's true. How bothersome.
It's as though someone didn't want us to go into the rooms with the magic circles.
The Union.
No. They went to all the trouble of making those magic circles obvious. So maybe they wanted us to enter. I think it's the latter. This isn't a movie, so breaking down the door is probably impossible. Smashing a window might do the trick, though.
For a while, Kraus pondered over whether this situation really called for smashing a window. At that time, Hideyoshi and Nanjo returned. There was nothing strange in the guest house, and the children were safe. They told the others that Rosa and Kyrie had stayed to watch over the place.
Good morning. I heard that something strange has happened. Good morning, Dr. Nanjo. I apologize for waking you so early in the morning.
What is it? Did you find a letter or something? I was sure you'd have found something like that by now.
You're right. I also believe this to be a massive joke or game of Father's. But if that's the case, there should be some letter telling us about it. Like the letter that was given to Maria-chan. One of Maria-chan's letter actually was the announcement, telling us that the game was on. The rules of the game, try solving the riddle of the epitaph, have already been made clear.
Then what might the 5 magic circles we found in the mansion represent? And the missing servants?
Natsune-san, how many servants were there today in total?
Huh? Genji, Goda. 5 of them, but why?
So there are 5 servants. There are also 5 magic circles. It's probably a coincidence, but I don't like it. Nissan, let's break a window. We should check and see what's inside.
We have no choice. Do it neatly.
Kraus made his decision and gave permission to smash a window.
Yippee!
And he decided that the first room they would break into should be the parlor on the first floor, where the windows would be easiest to reach.
We shall go for the 3rd floor first.
Ready? Go! No, Nazi!
They had hoped to peek in through the window. Oh yeah, it's also raining.
Yeah.
But the curtains were down, so they couldn't see inside. Rudolph wandered around the garden trying to find something that would be good for smashing the window. Hey, you've got an entire garden shed full of tools.
True.
Oh, or a rock, that works too. Eventually, he found a rock bigger than a fist and came back.
Is that the metric? You don't have to smash the whole thing. Just open it enough so you can reach the lock. Don't get your hopes up, okay?
Rudolph raised the rock and hit the glass with it several times.
Dang, wrong glass.
Eventually, he succeeded in opening a hole big enough that he could unlock it from the outside. Covering his hand with a handkerchief, he stuck his hand through that hole and cautiously unlocked it.
We should probably cover it up with packing tape later. The rain will get blown in.
When he suddenly opened the window, the wind and the rain made the curtain dance around violently. That curtain was blown to the side. They could see into the parlor they knew well. They were a little relieved. They thought there might be another bizarre magic circle inside the room, or possibly the traces of some creepy ceremony. In any event, they didn't want to hang out in the rain, so the 6 of them, Kraus, Natsuhe, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Nanjo, entered the parlor as a group. All from the outside? I thought someone was like gonna go in and open the door. No, they're all gonna climb in through the window. Dang.
It seems that nothing in particular has changed.
What's wrong? Shannon?
Wait, are you okay? What happened to you?
Blood! Blood! Dr. Nanjo, take a look at this!
Hey, Shana-chan, are you okay? Answer me.
You mustn't shake her. I will examine her condition now.
She had been in the shadow of the sofa, so they hadn't noticed her until they'd entered the room. Shannon was lying on the floor, her chest stained bright red with blood.
Oh
Now,
boy.
here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Battler, where are you? Look, Shannon's corpse has turned up, see? I won't bully you anymore, so come out. Oh, there you are. What are you doing, clutching at your head in a place like that?
Battler was crouching under the table, holding his head. His pitiful figure made it plainly clear that he didn't want to see anything, didn't want to hear anything. I mean, you got this. You saw everything they did last night. You saw them like fight and everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, I figured it wouldn't be too bad this time to be like, yeah. Had he heard Beatrice's sneering voice? Could he not hear? Or was he pretending that he couldn't hear? In any event, it was clear that he'd closed up his heart like a shell. Giving her the silent treatment.
Yep. Perhaps you tormented him too much, milady. After showing him all that and demanding a counter-argument, I can understand why he'd want to mope around. Hey, Battler! If you can't argue back, then resign, okay? It's your turn. If you don't make some move or pass, or else give up, we won't get anywhere. Huh? What's that? I can't hear you.
I said be quiet!
Doink.
Ah, shut up! A witch? Magic? Why don't you just do whatever you want? I don't believe any of it. Damn it! Don't talk to me, don't show me anything. Disappear, just disappear! Don't get that annoying face near me! Beatrice winced reflexively at Battler's sudden rage.
Even if you say that, if you don't finish your turn, then my turn won't come. In fact, I am the one asking you to stop boring me.
Who cares? Be quiet, shut up! Who cares about your game? I won't go along with it! If your turn won't come until mine's finished, then just wait for all eternity. I don't know, I don't get it! I won't accept witches or magic. I won't accept something that's screwed up. I said, don't talk to me. Huh? Huh? Rain? I don't know what's what anymore. After being shown something that screwed up, how could I resist? I wandered aimlessly through the rose garden. It was raining and windy, but that didn't mean my body got wet. There was just a feeling of isolation as I wandered amidst the wind and rain without an umbrella. Maybe I lost in that person's game a long time ago. Actually, didn't we already have a clear winner and loser in the last game? After all, I surrendered for a time. That's why the world was tinted with witches and magic. Right now, Rokkenjima is a different world where witches stride around openly and fire off strange spells. It isn't a matter of accepting it or denying it. Maybe I mistakenly assumed that I was playing a game on an even footing with Beato. Maybe I was already defeated in the last game, and this is just the signing ceremony of my surrender. A minute ago, a terrible battle unfolded in this rose garden. I saw it with my own eyes. I kicked the ground. Obviously, the ground was hard, and water from a puddle splashed. Several towers had split this ground, sprouting like high-rise buildings. The more I kicked this ground, the more it felt like that couldn't possibly have happened. But for that very reason, I couldn't explain it with anything other than magic anymore. If it was a closed room with a key shut up inside, I'd know it was probably an extension of stuff you often see in detective novels. But that? That big flashy thing? Damn it. It seems... Okay, this is me still, I think.
Yeah.
It seems my disciple has caused you much trouble.
Huh?
It's you. Someone suddenly spoke to me, so I turned around. And in the rose garden arbor was the predecessor Beatrice, whom Beatrice had supposedly defeated a short while ago. I was sure you died. So, you survived? No, I did die. Now I am nothing more than a defeated chess piece loitering outside the chessboard.
This
I
is...
have something to share.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This song that's playing right now is called Mother. That's all.
Good. Fitting title. In my opinion,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
You're Beato's teacher, right? So in other words, you're a witch too. Yes, that is correct. So basically, that means witches really do exist. And the only one who can defeat her isn't me. That'd be you, since you can use awesome magic, right? I'm just useless now. Don't sell yourself short, Battler. There's nothing I can do anymore. Hey, if Kenzo can be a great warlock, wizard, whatever she's calling him, you can.
He's getting depressed now.
Oh my.
Again.
Have you surrendered completely? Also, I just keep thinking about the fact that this is also just Kumasawa.
Yeah, it sticks with you, doesn't it?
I just...
It's
And like I'm trying to think like, does she remember everything of being Kumasawa? Is that like a fugue state that she was in, or was she just both people like at the same time? So she like, or is that like a separate identity that she doesn't think she doesn't relate to Kumasawa? I don't know. It's just weird for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you questions at the end of stream about all the stuff we see today, depending on how long it goes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, keep thinking about all that.
Okay. What do you mean, surrender? How am I supposed to explain that? Towers sprouting and falling? Huge giants holding shields and throwing spears? Ugh. Just remembering it makes me feel like I'm going insane. We're way past the point of trying to reason this all out, aren't we? We've left the level of tricks and things that can be explained with human culprits. Ah! Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Calm yourself. I am nothing more than a piece on that child's game board. After being removed from that board, I am no longer a being capable of doing anything. But you are that child's opponent. As long as you do not give up on your own, you will always have the power to strike back. Shut up! Weren't you also reciting strange spells and summoning towers and spears? What do you mean, strike back? Are you saying you'll teach me magic too and make me take part in that massive magic battle? If you wish, I could teach you a bit about magic. Oh, just what I wanted. Please, give me some awesome magic to smash through her chest in one blow. Ha! Don't screw with me.
Don't. Okay.
I hear that in Japanese magic, there is a ceremony used to pray for rain. Do you know of it? A rain ceremony? That thing where you throw stuff into a fire and dance as an offering? That's not magic. They say that the fire causes an updraft which makes rain clouds gather. That's supposed to be an accepted scientific phenomenon. Oh. I believed it to be a form of Eastern magic, but is that not the case? I believed people offered sacred fire to the heavens, as well as a dance of respect, so that your entreaty for rain would reach the hearts of the gods. Maybe people did that long ago, but most occult things like that have a scientific explanation. Why do things burn? Isn't that because...
Phlogiston? Something like that. I used to know how to pronounce that word because that's a thing in D&D.
Is contained in the material.
No, things burn because of a chemical reaction. Lavoisier, I'm assuming that's French. Lavoisier abolished the phlogiston theory.
Why does heat transfer through objects?
What is this conversation right now?
Isn't that because caloric is contained in the material?
I'm pretty sure that was abolished by Joule. Heat is energy, not a substance.
You've studied well. Your knowledge is accurate.
It's just some trivia.
Phlogiston, caloric, and eventually ether and God's love. All are powerless before a scientific explanation. In the past, I was told that an apple falling from a tree was thanks to God's love, so that humans would be given food.
So, even gravity is the love of God? Well, that's probably the remnants from the period when religion, rather than science, was used to explain everything.
That is correct. In the past, humans called the limits of their knowledge, no, ignorance itself, magic. Like the rain ceremony we were just talking about. Did the people of ancient times realize that there was a scientific explanation? That fire gave rise to heat to cause updrafts that summoned clouds? Even without understanding these things, they at least knew the result.
That probably happened a lot. That's stuff called knowledge of the ancestors. Even without understanding the reason, through long experience, they knew that they'd achieve results. Phenomena whose principles they didn't understand were probably the same as magic to them. Like this person just said, ancient people who didn't understand those principles probably believed that. Through the rain ceremony, their wishes would reach the heavens and make the rain fall. To them, that was certainly magic. As long as they didn't understand updrafts.
If you push an electrical switch, a light turns on. Children do not know the scientific principles behind why a light bulb lights up.
They only know the result when they push the switch. If they obtain such a result without knowing the principles, doesn't that make it magic to them? That's pretty interesting. Well, logically that's true. For example, I don't have a clue why the brawn tubes in a TV show a picture. Still, I think it's totally normal to see things shown on a TV. Even if I didn't understand the principles behind brawn tubes, I at least know that if I push the switch, I can watch TV. It's exactly the same as having a rain ceremony without understanding updrafts. In other words, if I don't know the principles, even TV is the same as magic. Or even magic itself, I guess. Do you know the structure of brawn tubes? Have you ever taken one apart and looked inside?
Nope. I think I read about it in a book or something once, but it was complicated and I didn't have a clue. I think that when electrons hit fluorescent material, it creates luminescence or something like that.
That book lied. Actually, there are small people called gremlins shut up inside the brawn tubes, and they do their work with magic.
Huh? Don't be stupid. There's no way that's true.
She's so real.
How can you deny it if you have never looked inside a brawn tube?
Do you know where this is heading, Levi?
Oh, wait a second. Wait. I might know where it's heading.
If you had to guess, where do you think this is heading right now?
Is this going to culminate in tiny bombs?
I'll let you keep going.
Okay. I've never looked inside, but I can say for sure that small people like that definitely don't exist.
Since there are no brawn tubes here, that is impossible to prove.
Yeah, it's impossible to prove right now, but later I can take apart a TV somewhere and show you and instantly win the argument.
So, put another way, my magical theory that gremlins are shut up inside the brawn tubes and display the picture with magic is impossible to disprove until we can verify the contents of a brawn tube. Correct?
Yeah. What the hell? Is this one of those? Are you trying to say it's a devil's proof? Well, I thought that one without saying. That's a favorite trick of you witches.
A devil's proof is a bit of sophistry, one that takes advantage of the fact that negative facts are impossible to prove. However, it's different from my brawn tubes metaphor. That could be resolved.
Oh yeah, she is still talking.
That could be resolved simply by taking apart a single television.
You're right. It isn't really a devil's proof.
You have proposed a scientific theory, and I have proposed a magical one. One of those is the truth. And which one it is can be ascertained the moment you look inside a brawn tube. However, until the instant that happens, we cannot deny each other's theories. So, even though the only one truth exists, until you look into the brawn tube, you can have two conflicting truths existing at the same time. You have a realm in which two truths can exist simultaneously, even though there must be only one truth in existence.
Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, that's where it's headed.
Is the cat in the box?
Oh wait, I think this is just... Is this her? I don't know, because it's not
It's
giving me
just
the...
narration.
Okay.
It's just narration.
Is the cat in the box alive or dead? If you open the box, you will learn the answer. You will learn the truth. However, until you open the box, you can claim that the cat is alive, and you can also claim that it is dead. Both claims are the correct truth according to the people making them. And even though the two sides are in conflict, neither can win the argument as long as the box remains unopened. Sorry, had to yawn. In other words, two truths and a lie. No, two truths can exist at the same time.
even though there can be only one cat in the box. It is packed with a living cat and a dead cat, forming a strange separate world. That is what Rokkenjima is now. It's a big Schrodinger's cat box. That island, this island, is now a different world where a scientific theory and a magical one can exist at the same time. To a resident of the world of science, such as yourself, at a glance, it may feel as though this island has been sucked into a world of magic. That might not be wrong, but it is not accurate. Strictly speaking, it has been moved from the world of science to the gap between that world and the world of magic. So at a glance, it appears to you as though the world is tilted towards the magical side. But in reality, this island is now in a perfectly impartial position with relation to those two opposing worlds. I don't really get it. The gap between reality and magic? A perfectly impartial world? How's that? Hasn't pretty much everything that's happened been totally not in my favor? Then perhaps you could think of it this way. This is a trial. Think of it as a court, where you and Beatrice are laying out opposing claims. Call it a brawn tube trial. Your opponent claims that there are tiny people inside the brawn tubes, explaining one thing after another, talking about the lives of these tiny people, what they looked like, what type of magical power they have. And what do? Well, I study in a library and argue back by explaining how brawn tubes are constructed. She didn't like that answer. At this moment, both your claim and that child's claim exist in the court at the same time. If you find your opponent's claim convincing, it might sound like truth to you. It might look like truth to you. That is exactly what you saw. At this moment on Rokkenjima, witches and magic certainly may exist as truth. However, until the moment that the cat's box is open, that world is an uncertain wave function. The entire situation can be explained by both sides at the same time. However, there is one truth. That set of truths shrinks with observation, and countless truths are weeded out to become one truth. It is like when, in court, the judge hands down his judgment. The two truths from the prosecutor's and the defense's claims are reduced in number by the judgment and become one. To say it in your words, this island right now is the world right before looking into a brawn tube, right? Therefore, the science theory and the magic theory cannot be denied. And since they cannot be denied, both can exist as truth. Therefore, both witches and magic can exist. However, at the same time, your opinion of denial also exists as truth. It is a world where two conflicting things can exist at once. And it is a world where conflicting truths cannot disprove each other. Have you managed to understand? In other words, no matter how much awesome magic Beato shows me, it's only a claim of a magical theory and it doesn't disprove my position. So no matter what kind of magic Beato shows me in this world, it cannot become proof that magic exists. That's right. That child might even try to explain an apple falling from a tree with magic, perhaps by shaking her staff and magically plucking the apple, then claiming to be the thing that made it drop down to the earth. However, that will be nothing more than another claim. None of your opponent's claims can prevent you from making yours. In that sense, this world is quite impartial to both sides. I get it. Still, by that argument, if I show a sound argument with my science theory, and it collides head-on with her magic theory, I also can't win against her. On top of that, the final judgment won't come until we peek into the Brawn Tube. Where is the Brawn Tube in this world? Because it exists, there should be no reason for us to argue. Why don't we just get along and peek into the Brawn Tube? If there really is a tiny person in there, it's my complete loss. Otherwise, it's my victory. Why do we have to hold this debate without looking into the Brawn Tube? That itself is the game you are being challenged to. Maybe, instead of a court, I should use chess as an example. There, victory and loss are not determined by a judge. You who fight will decide it yourselves. Can you win an argument with an opponent in a screwed-up world where multiple truths can exist at the same time? In actual fact, didn't you lose an argument and surrender like this?
Should have used that time to eat.
Mother. Sorry.
That is all the advice I can give you now. If you wish, I can occasionally offer you counsel.
Sure. Thanks. That really helps. I'll avenge you.
Oh, thank you. I look forward to it.
What's your name?
Beatrice used to be my name, but now that I've surrendered it, I do not have a name. So, I shall take a temporary name. Virgilius. No. How about Virgilia?
Virgilia. Like Valkyria?
Yeah, it's a hard G.
Wasn't that a name for Virgilia?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a name for goddesses that show up in myths?
No. It means the guide who leads the way to Beatrice. I will guide you to that child who waits at the summit of Mount Purgatory.
Because Virgil?
Yep.
Okay. It ought to be a fitting name for such a guide.
Who would have guessed I'd accept help from a witch when I'm trying to deny witches? I see. If this is a contradictory world where different claims can exist at the same time, I guess that's cool. It's almost funny.
I am borrowing that child's words, but you truly are like a phoenix. Your will to fight has already been revived. Come, if your heart is prepared, return to your opponent. Return to the chessboard where that child is seated. I look forward to seeing how far you can fight with my disciple.
Yeah, watch it. I won't listen to her babbling anymore. I'll coolly fight to the end. Well, we have an entire other episode, Bub, so I'm not too sure if that's true or not, but I definitely won't get provoked by her any longer. Well, you're kind of prone to getting provoked by people. Yeah, no, that one, I don't think that's true at all.
Then, let us return to the seat of the battle.
Alright. Do you want to see her tips entry?
Oh, do we have one now, finally?
Yeah, it did the noise. It did the...
There she is.
Yeah.
No hands.
No.
Virgilia, excuse me. A now retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's teacher. She used the Endless Magic property and devoted her life to the smiles and happiness of many people. She taught Beatrice the Endless Magic, believing that Beatrice would also devote herself to the people, and retired. Though she was Beatrice's teacher, she was also a magician employed by Beatrice's family. For that reason, she interacted with Beatrice in a manner fitting for a servant.
Some point to this as the source of Beatrice's arrogance and recklessness. Dang.
Lore.
Lore.
She looks like a Pokemon.
What? Just.
Sorry.
She
Oh,
looks like a
that's
very
a-
nice woman who I would like to take to dinner.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you would.
I would, yes. So much wood I could build an entire deck.
Whoa.
Anyways.
Where did you run off to? And I thought losers never came back for more.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I've cooled my head a little.
And? Did you think of a response to that pleasant, thrilling, refreshing, highly acclaimed, wonderful fantasy battle between teacher and me? Isn't that impossible to explain without fantasy? Milady, didn't you just promise to be kind and act more gracefully? Oh no, I just got in such a good mood when I saw Battler's face, you see? Look, how are you gonna respond to that battle just now, Battler?
She's getting to the point where she actually is enjoying his company now.
Yeah!
Battle? What battle? Oh!
What?
In this rose garden, where do you see those spears? And towers you made lying around? They aren't here, are they? In other words, it's just like the inside of a brawn tube.
The inside of a brawn tube? What in the world are you talking about now?
At this very moment, there's nothing at all in the rose garden. Towers may have been sprouting with magic until a short while ago. However, that's only the case until we've seen what's inside the brawn tube. That magical battle is nothing more than your interpretation, your claim. The fact that there's absolutely nothing to see here now proves it. This is how I argue back about that witch's battle just now. Right now, there isn't anything here, which proves that nothing happened.
Come now. Of course I can't make a huge mess when it's only the first twilight, and I am rather fond of that rose garden, you see? To prevent any damage, I had the fight occur inside a barrier. So it's only natural that it wouldn't have any influence on reality.
Okay. That's your claim? Well, I guess that works. However, at this point in time, there is nothing in the rose garden. So nothing stands in the way of my claim that there was no magic done here.
Wait, can you deny my magic with a mess like that? It is impossible to prove that magic does not exist. It's a devil's proof.
At this point in time, this garden is the truth. The instant you look inside, the tiny people inside the brawn tube will vanish. He sounds insane! Wait, Beatrice is internally like, oh no, I've made him go insane. He's actually just lost it.
Yeah.
And there are no traces of magic here at all. So that battle between you witches did not take place.
Whoa. What the... That counter... That power... Could it be? Have you forgotten, milady? It is the multi-layered world reduction technique.
Oh! Oh, it has a name! Oh, you know, Beatrice. How could you forget, Beatrice?
Yeah.
The multi-layer worlds reduction technique. Of course.
The power of a finite witch, the counter to the power of an endless witch. Only an endless witch can perceive it, and it is most effective against such a witch. Schrodinger's cat box? That old hag of a witch. What an uncalled for hint.
We've lost time. Including the 5 servants and grandfather, there are 6 corpses. Let me check the scene. I've been trudging along, wasting time. From now on, I'll speed things up, okay?
Whoa!
Take a seat, Beatrice.
Sit down.
It's finally the first twilight, isn't it? Let's start the real thing. Show me what you've got.
All right.
I understand the reason that he had that conversation with Virgilia, but it's just very funny to me that a lot of it was them being like, how does science work?
Yeah.
What are all of these phenomena, and how do they actually work in the real world?
Oh. But with that in mind, what do you think? What do you think about the witch battle now?
I mean, if it didn't happen in reality, then it didn't happen in reality, right?
Yeah.
It happened in wherever Magic Land is. So it's not real. It didn't happen in reality, so it's not real.
But did it happen?
Well, it did happen, but it also didn't happen because both truths can exist at the same time.
It's true. Until we get to episode 7. That's where the brawn tube is.
That's where the brawn tube is. Okay. Okay. Oh, we're back to the adults now. Yeah. Forget what the adults expected. At least for us kids. These were supposed to be a fun couple of days where the cousins deepened their friendship. However, when we woke up, there was an unbelievably cruel reality waiting for us.
Oh.
Oh yeah, George and Jessica are both still in every episode so far. George and Jessica have both lost someone somehow.
Yeah.
That's what they get for being in love with servants.
Constant L's. Yep.
George, Aniki, and Jessica were crying over Shannon-chan and Kanon-kun's death. What? Oh! Okay. Right now, everyone who was alive had gathered in the lobby on the first floor of the guest house. I mean, I guess it is supposed to be a hotel, so that makes sense that it's nice like this.
Never see this.
Yeah, no, we have not seen this before. This is the first time we've seen this CG, I think. And there were 12 people here. Unbelievable, right? There were 18 until yesterday. And in one night, a third of that number had lost their lives. I eventually sobered up from my agitation, and along with my lack of sleep from being woken up so early in the morning, I was beginning to feel a faint sense of unreality.
Hate that unreality.
Because they're not in reality. But they are. They're on the edge of both.
You've got a good idea, and I shouldn't, but I'm gonna give you a hint. You're actually unironically onto something, but you just need to ask, what is unreality?
Oh gosh, okay.
But you're onto something.
I just needed Mother.
Yeah, true. I can't
I just
believe
needed
that's
Mother to talk to me, and now I'm starting to put things
crazy.
together.
Me seeing Virgilia IRL. Hey, yo, thanks, mommy.
Yeah. I want to think this is some kind of bad dream. My cheap escapism keeps telling me that over and over. Another, I think, new CG that we've never seen before.
Yeah, it must just be the other side of the guest room, or guest house lobby.
Maria had gone back to sleep on the sofa Rosa was sitting in. Rather than her having nerves of steel, she probably genuinely hadn't had enough sleep. Yo, Rudolph got the piece this time.
He looks like he should hold it.
He
like,
does look
pose.
like he should. The adults were holding items from what was apparently grandfather's collection. There are several of them.
Several. Blickies.
Short-barreled Winchester rifles. Apparently relics from a time he'd been obsessed with westerns. There were 4 guns altogether. Dang!
4.
Those had been
4
split
guns,
up among
6 adults.
Rosa, or those had been split up among the 4 siblings: Uncle Kraus, Aunt Eva, my dad, and Aunt Rosa.
I am shocked they gave one to Rosa.
Paper boxes filled with bullets lay on the table, and the siblings were silently loading them.
It's a little scary. Even now, touching one of these. I get the feeling Dad'll yell, "Don't touch that," and hit me.
Well, isn't that great? No matter how much you touch them, you won't be hit again.
Dang. That's one way to think of it. I can't believe it. To think that Father would meet this kind of end.
Well, I never did expect Kenzo-san to die normally in his bed. But even so, it's too horrible.
Hey, I wonder if that really was Father.
Oh boy.
I think it might be a different person's corpse, used as a substitute to trick us.
No, it was Father, without a doubt. You saw his toes, right?
Oh, okay.
Generally speaking, there aren't many humans with 6 toes on both feet.
They're just doing this to get that out of the way again.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that such people don't exist. I've heard that polydactyly isn't that rare a disease. He was a man who liked large-scale tricks, right? He might have obtained a corpse from somewhere that had the same number of toes on both feet.
Hey, Levi. I hear that 1 of 3 people have polydactyly. I don't have polydactyly.
I don't have polydactyly.
Audience?
All of them?
Yeah.
Every single person?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Why would he do something like that?
I'd agree if it was a normal person. But this is Father we're talking about. You can't be sure Curious Hand's talking nonsense.
After all, burning a corpse makes it hard to identify. Still, there should be a few ways to examine him from his teeth and bone structure. If the police investigated, of course they'd be able to know whose body it was right away.
The problem is that we need a telephone engineer more than the police right now.
Do you? The boats probably won't come in this typhoon. So will they arrive tomorrow?
Most likely, the boat will come again at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Then, I believe we will be able to contact the police.
It's the same for us. And the culprit. Until the typhoon passes, this island will be closed off.
And they all have an excuse to not accuse each other this time because they
Yeah.
all believe in a 19th person.
Crazy. What a game.
Just from
Who
our
put
parents.
this one together? It was... Beatrice put the game together. Ronove did the first Twilight. That's right.
Just from our parents' conversation, you could probably figure out the general gist, but let's explain the situation anyway. First, early that morning, in various places... Oh, we got a
Whoa.
tinkle. In various places throughout the mansion, a total of 6 corpses... Oh, I bet it's all of them being dead now. Including grandfather and the servants have been found, one after the other. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh,
Too bad. This time, it was game over right from the start. The truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
as Jigsaw said, game over.
No evidence of a struggle found inside the incinerator. Probably reasonable to assume he was burned after his murder. His body was found in the VIP room on the 2nd floor. Weapon used on him is assumed to be a gun or a spear-shaped object. Yep. To thank Genji for his many years of service, let us allow him to rest in the VIP room. Found on the parlor floor. Weapon used gun or spear-shaped. Let Shannon have the parlor with its wonderful view of the rose garden on sunny days. For Canon, the chapel. Let him continue to protect the Lord's precious place even after death. Dang! The room next to the study is fitting for him, considering how much he wanted to earn Kenzo's favor. Wait a minute. How does this work now? Because she shouldn't look like that now.
But she does.
But she does. And also, if she is the same person, she should be pin-cushioned. Although I suppose Beatrice can probably just change that. Seldom used second floor guest room was her secret napping spot. Interesting. Interesting.
Indeed. Indubitably. All of the goats.
First, grandfather had been in the boiler room, completely burnt. The servants had died, each shut up in the rooms throughout the mansion that had magic circles drawn on them. The cause of death for the servants was uncertain, but according to Dr. Nanjo's diagnosis, there was a high likelihood that they had been stabbed by something like a spear, or possibly shot with a gun. That's why the adults had started arming themselves with Winchesters. And what made the situation even more chaotic was the fact that the telephones had become unusable. It was unknown if lightning had caused them to break down or if the culprit had broke them. At any rate, since contact with the outside had been cut off, we couldn't reach the police. So until the typhoon passes and a boat comes tomorrow morning, we'll have to protect ourselves. After all, Rokkenjima is now isolated by the typhoon. And just as we're stuck on the island, so is the culprit. It seemed that the adults had stayed up all night, holding the family conference in the mansion's dining hall the whole time. And yet, the crime had occurred in the mansion. So right when the adults had been in an uproar over money, the murderer had been killing under the same roof. They say Aunt Natsu's been strict about locking the doors and windows at night, and yet some suspicious person had entered and left the mansion. The adults had decided that the inside of the mansion was too large to be safe, so they had pulled out the guns and moved to the guest house where we had been. Which brings us to the present. George Aniki had begged to see Shannon-chan's corpse, but the adults had refused, saying that he mustn't do so until the police arrived. That wasn't just because they wanted to seal all the rooms to preserve the scene. After all, the culprit who had killed 6 people was wandering about the mansion. To the Ushiromiya family right now, the mansion that should have been their home was now a danger zone that an unknown murderer could enter and leave at will. After all, it's a huge mansion. There are plenty of blind spots and dark places, and it's too vast to guarantee absolute safety with this number of people. Relatively speaking, the guest house was much smaller. It had 2 above-ground stories, something like 10 or so rooms. Apparently, it had originally been constructed to serve as a small hotel, as a part of the plan to turn the island into a resort. So it was easier to know what was going on everywhere inside it, and it'd be easier to keep safe. It made for a good place to hole up in. Also, it was extremely likely that this mass murder of 6 people was a game. After all, the culprit had proclaimed so in a letter. I heard that a Western-style envelope with the family crest, just like the one Maria claimed to have received from Beatrice yesterday, had been found in the boiler room where grandfather's corpse had been discovered. This was what the letter said. So that there will be no misunderstandings, the game I seek is for everyone to try and solve the riddle of the epitaph, not for you to try and catch me. If you don't solve the riddle, the pitiful sacrifices will further increase in number. It would be wiser to spend your time solving the epitaph instead of searching for me. If no one can solve the riddle, no one will survive. If a person appears who can miraculously solve it, I will give them all of the gold of the Golden Land, the Ushiromiya family headship, and all of my power. I was the one who succeeded the Ushiromiya family headship after Kenzo-sama. I look forward to seeing who will succeed to that headship after me.
the Golden Witch, Beatrice. This riddle of the epitaph was that thing. That strange epitaph written by the portrait of the witch on display in the hall of the mansion. Grandfather was the one who had it written, and the person who solved it would, supposedly, be given the inheritance or the hidden gold or something like that. Ever since it was first put on display there several years ago, the relatives had secretly tried to solve that riddle despite saying on the surface that the whole idea was silly. However, up until today, no one had solved it. We were once again being urged to solve that unintelligible riddle, and this time we were faced with the threat that we'd all be killed if we didn't solve it. If that wasn't a game, what else could it be? It is very Saw.
It is so, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your entire life. Sure, but no, okay.
You've been afraid of witches.
I filled this entire game with witches.
The bold opinion that we should search the premises for the culprit did come up once. However, there was a good chance they were armed, and there might be not just one of them. And, while they might have been able to kill more than 6 people, they had stopped at 6. The opinion that won out in the end was that we should avoid needlessly antagonizing the culprit and hole up in a safe place while we waited for the police to arrive. And,
They
maybe
just
also
put all
solve
their
the
brain
epitaph.
power. They put all their brain power in this one game. They all were like, let's not chase
Yes.
the witch. Let's all lock up in here together. Let's get the guns. Crazy.
Now let's see how Beatrice still wins. No. After the adults carefully checked that the doors and windows in the guest house were locked, they set up camp in the lobby. As they loaded their guns to distract themselves from the tension, their expressions showed that they were already fatigued from this long day, which had still barely begun. There was nothing for me to do. Now all I could do was be taught how to use a gun, to prepare for the off chance of something happening that led to an excess of guns. That's fine. Just obediently stay there, me and the rest of you. 6 people in the beginning, again. And this time it's grandfather and all the servants put together. Oh, you're back. Most likely, that child has carefully studied your moves from the last game, and has made an optimal move by taking the pieces you were most likely to suspect from the start. That makes sense. That was true both last time and the time before that. The servants who knew everything about the mansion and who walk around with keys always fall into the most suspicious category of people. A good example in the last game would be Jessica's closed room. God, that feels so long ago now.
I know. I was just looking to see what we are on for episode 3, and this is our 5th part of episode 3,
Yeah.
and we are still dealing with the first Twilight.
Yes.
In total, we've done 23 episodes of
Shoo.
Umineko, by the way. This is our 23rd live stream of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When did we start? That's we can figure that out another time.
I can take a look while you're reading.
If I'd only accepted that a servant was the culprit, that wouldn't even have been a closed room. And so, that child went straight for them, probably to block off a method of escape you'd be likely to attempt sooner or later. Beato...
We started 7 months ago,
Shoo!
in like November.
Yeah, I was thinking we might end up having like a 1-year anniversary.
I think we will. We're only 5 months out, and we are not halfway through the game.
Beato already proclaimed and read that there are no more than 18 people on this island. That's right, she did do that, huh?
Yeah, she did a little tricky trick.
In other words, it's time to give up on that. Now I've got to suspect one of the 18. That child will probably come at you by stealing the pieces for all the 18, while also making an appearance as a 19th person who shouldn't exist. For then, you would be forced to accept that your opponent is a witch. After all,
Now that the intimidation approach has failed, trying to force you to surrender by showing you magic, the only remaining option is a frontal attack. Perfect. Bluffing won't work anymore. Be careful. Deception is what witches are best at. No matter what your opponent says or shows you, it will not be able to threaten the truth that you believe in. Don't forget that. Sure. As if I'd fall for the same moves over and over. Come on out, Beatrice. Let's get started.
Oh, he's so excited. Oh, the music. I love this song. What is this one again? Answer. Ah, okay, sorry. I am already seated at the table of the contest, and my turn is already complete. To think we would end up having Madam as our foe. This will not be easy, milady.
Yeah, she did kind of declare that as her intent when you found her.
Yeah. Our moves will be read thoroughly. I care not. By now, teacher's moves are all old-fashioned classics. There is nothing to fear.
Holy moly. They're hitting it on that piano.
I love this song and the person that did all these songs.
So, just what moves can you make beyond the classics I taught you? I look forward to seeing, Beatrice.
Are you okay with this, battler? Can someone who denies witches really accept a witch as a strategist?
I have a working theory going back to the reality thing, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's right at all. But I'll wait for a down moment to explain it. Your stupid provocation is pointless. This is my advisor. No, my second. That doesn't change one bit that this is a fist fight between you and me.
I understand. One as wobbly as yourself probably needs training wheels on his bicycle. Do as you like. Come, let us begin. It's your turn.
Yeah, but how bad would it suck to lose in a race to a guy with training wheels on his bicycle?
That'd be pretty bad considering she's on a bicycle that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Let's begin
what
with
the
the
heck is this
reconstruction of the crime scene. Virgilia.
Dancing Pipe is the name of this song. What the heck?
It's Beatrice's pipe.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of a real pipe.
Oh, like a metal
I was like
pipe?
a metal pipe. Yeah. That's why I was just like,
Now
why
I just
would it
have
be
an
dancing?
image of the metal pipe sound effect pipe, but doing the cockroach dance.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The cockroach.
Oh, Virgilia, quickly, please.
The first corpse discovered was Shannon's. She was found in the parlor on the first floor of the mansion. The door and windows were locked, and a closed room was established.
Beato, I need some details. Let's reconfirm the definition of a closed room.
Indeed. The term closed room refers to a room where the room inside and outside are completely cut off from each other. Naturally, it will be impossible to even affect things across that boundary line, much less enter or escape across it. This includes an all-inclusive denial of the existence of hidden doors, as well as all possibility of intervention from the outside. Henceforth, this shall be referred to as Beatrice's closed room definition.
Okay. Let's focus in a bit. How do you define all possibility of intervention from the outside?
I refer to all types of direct intervention from the outside, such as using a fishing line or a long, thin rod. In conclusion, there are no gaps in the doors and windows through which such tricks will work.
I wonder about that. Even if there wasn't a gap, you should be able to interfere with radio waves, like with a remote control, right?
That brawn tube thing messed him up.
It really did. He's been thinking after the brawn tubes.
Very well.
I'll add to this definition that interference due to radio waves and related methods of remote control shall be impossible.
There's also an extension telephone in the parlor.
gosh.
A device connected to that wouldn't count as a remote control, right?
The phones are already unusable, are they not?
Are they? No.
Oh, whatever. I'll include that too. All direct and indirect methods of interfering with the inside of the closed room from the outside of the room are impossible.
What about a voice or a knock?
Oh.
Those should be able to interfere from the outside without someone entering the room, right?
Even though it's a closed room, it probably isn't impossible for someone to knock or call out. The closed room definition does not cover whether transmission of intent across the boundary is possible or not.
In other words, you can't make it so your definition includes the blockage of all methods of communication with the outside.
That is indeed the case.
Understood. So, Shannon-chan's parlor satisfies Beatrice's closed room definition, right?
Correct.
Closed room definition understood. Continue, Virgilia. Yes. Shannon's corpse was in the possession of one master key. The relatives who discovered her collected this. Beato, repeat it. How many master keys this time?
The same as last time. There are 5, one for each servant.
Which means this still isn't a closed room. There are still 4 master keys left. It just means that after Shannon-chan was murdered, one of the other 4 keys locked it.
Correct. And it wasn't only a master key that was found.
Yes. Alongside the corpse, there was a western envelope with the family crest. Instead of a letter, the key to a guest room on the 2nd floor was inside it. The key to a 2nd floor guest room, the only key other than the master key that can open the door to that 2nd floor guest room. Is that definition correct?
Indeed, there is no problem. And, unlike the master keys, only one of those exists.
In other words, apart from the 5 master keys, there will be only one key that can unlock certain rooms.
In other words, this is a message telling them to go to the 2nd floor guest room next. So the adults move to the 2nd floor guest room, right? Yes. The door to the 2nd floor guest room was locked and a magic circle was drawn on it. The relatives unlocked it with the key they had found near Shannon's corpse. Inside, Kumasawa's corpse was discovered. It was a closed room, one that satisfied Beatrice's closed room definition. Kumasawa was in the possession of one master key. The relatives collected this. And like in Shannon's case, there was a western envelope discovered alongside her. Inside was the key to the 3rd floor waiting room. The relatives moved to the 3rd floor waiting room. So there was a magic circle on the door to the 3rd floor waiting room, and that door was locked. Yes. Inside the room, Goda's corpse was discovered. The room was a closed room, one that satisfied Beatrice's closed room definition. Goda was in possession of one master key. The relatives collected this. And, like up until now, a western envelope with the family seal was discovered, inside of which was the key to the 2nd floor VIP room. The relatives moved to the 2nd floor VIP room. What's going on here? What are you planning?
There's no need to glare, is there? It may be a closed room, but there are still multiple master keys that can open it, correct? And besides the master keys, I've even given you keys specific to each room.
I don't like where this is going, but I'm starting to see how it'll turn out. So it continues like this for all 6 people? Yes, that is correct. Inside the 2nd floor VIP room, Genji's corpse was discovered. One master key was collected. The key to the underground boiler room was discovered.
They moved to the underground boiler room. Inside the underground boiler room, Kinzo's corpse was discovered. The key to the chapel was discovered. And they moved to the chapel, inside of which Cannon's corpse was discovered. One master key was collected. The key to the first floor parlor was discovered. With this, our reconstruction of how all 6 corpses were discovered is complete.
Whew. An addendum. Along with the key to the chapel, a letter was enclosed in the western envelope and found near Kinzo's corpse. The contents of the letter were as you saw. It further urged the relatives to solve the riddle of the epitaph.
In that case, what's going on? If the last place where Cannon was had the key to the very first room, the parlor where Shannon was, that makes 6 closed rooms all tied together, right? let me get a...
Yeah, I was gonna say, so Levi, what are you thinking right about now?
Well, I mean... I don't remember. Has it ever been established that it's impossible to lock these rooms from the inside?
I'm not sure.
I think it could very much... I mean, a plausible explanation right now could be that the cycle started at one of the rooms and then went along into each room until a final person was in their place. So, like, someone... They all go into a room, person dies, room is exited, locked. And then this keeps happening until we get to the final one, in which case it would have had to have been locked after they entered and then they died within. But then the question is, of course, how did they die? And who killed them?
Yeah.
And we've established there's only 18 people. Poison of some kind could be an explanation.
Maybe, but they all had the blood stains, at least. Except Kinzo, who was burnt.
True. Tiny bombs. Tiny.
That's it. This is a toughie. This is a tough one.
It is a toughie. It could be like actual Saw-style collars on their necks, which blow up and leave little marks that look as if they are bullet wounds or a spear stab, killing them. Something like that. And they're timed, which is how it happened over, yeah.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to extrapolate, I could probably get something, which I'm sure is what Battler's gonna have to do in this situation. But he does have new weapons at his side. He has the Schrodinger's cat thing that he can use now. But I'm trying to think of how that could be used in this situation.
I remember. Ronove set this all up.
Yeah.
Not that that really matters, but I just wanted to add that in.
Huh. 6 rooms, all closed rooms. How did they all get in there? Each with their own master key and a key to another room.
Yep. All the master keys were there. So... The idea of the last one being able to be locked is insanely, like, impossible.
Yeah. But it has to have happened somehow.
Because it happened.
It did happen. And if we're working off of the Schrodinger's thing, then there must be a way that it could have happened that was not magically done, because both things are true.
Yeah.
Both it being magic and scientifically possible are true. So there is a way that this had to have happened without it being just magic. What is that way is the question. Okay. We need to continue because I don't want to sit on this forever and just keep
Get
holding
used
them.
to that image, though, because that's probably going to be the thumbnail for the next live stream.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh, that's right, it's me.
That is correct. The 6 closed rooms are all tied together. The keys to unlock each one are all shut up inside the next room. In other words, the 6 closed rooms form one massive closed room. And all of the master keys, as well as the individual room keys, are shut up inside it. Furthermore, all of the doors and windows on the 6 rooms are normal. No device exists which can lock them without a key, such as an auto lock. What do you think? It's beautiful, isn't it?
That does ruin the somehow it got locked when they were inside, because the key, if nothing can come in through like a slit under a door or window, the keys would all have to be in the rooms when the door was locked, and it can't be locked without a key because that's what she just said.
Yeah.
So then how did it happen?
It happened.
Unless...
She just laughed at you.
Fuck you.
She...
Unless we're
Great.
getting unreliable narrated and the red truth isn't actually the truth. But, I mean, then, like, what do I fucking do, right? I don't...
The red truth is always true.
Okay. Ah.
Once again, milady, that is not dignified.
When Ronove rebuked her, Beato stuck her tongue at him without showing any signs of shame.
Surprised she didn't flip him off.
Sorry. Playing the battler just put me into such a good mood. So, battler, what do you think of my move? If you can't think of anything in particular, I wouldn't mind showing you how I made the goats carry the corpses. And seal all of the rooms with magic, okay?
Do what you want. I'll listen respectfully to this magic theory that you claim is true. However, I can claim my human theory, even though it's completely different from yours without any interference from your claim. In other words, there's no need for me to pay attention to your bullshit.
Whoa.
Go ahead and show me you can lock the door with your multicolored magic simply by waving your magic staff. Just like those guys with their toad oil and all-purpose kitchen knives.
Now, that's not quite the same thing, but he's got the spirit.
Yep. Virgilia, let's reconstruct the crime scene. Search for a weakness. Were they all definitely dead? If one of them is just playing dead, this isn't a closed room at all. Nanjo? Oh, okay, that's why Nanjo. Nanjo confirmed that all of them were dead. However, due to the devil's proof, it is impossible to deny the possibility of a wrong diagnosis. In other words, that child cannot make the likelihood that Nanjo overlooked them being alive equal to 0. Here it is, that devil's proof. But there exists a sword that can carve that up.
What's up with them? Looks like they're having a good time, leaving me out of the discussion.
Oh no, she's getting jealous.
I'm his opponent, am I not? Doesn't he have any time to spare for me?
She's getting jealous.
Fundamentally speaking, communication with one's opponent is not necessary to the act of competing in chess. Every time you've communicated with him outside of making your moves, you've used that opportunity to confuse him.
Frankly speaking, my lady, he probably doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Perhaps this is the result of him not wanting to be led astray.
For some reason, I don't like it.
You are challenging him to a chess match, are you not?
He's my boy toy, and I get to choose how I play with him.
That's true, but... Gah!
Beatrice puffed out her cheeks as though to say, I don't know why, but I don't like it. Because the police have not yet arrived at the crime scene, the human side's ability to inspect the scene is limited. For a strict confirmation of death, I recommend that you have that child repeated in red. Okay, that's where I'll strike. Repeat it! The 6 victims are all dead.
I said the craziest idea. I would love Umineko cosplay, but it's all the witches, but they're Papa John's delivery drivers.
What?
Anyway.
What?
What? I'm cooking. It would go so good. Think about it.
What?
I'm cooking. I'm cooking. Anyway. Milady, he has told you to repeat something in red, has he not?
Hey, enough lazing around. Do you refuse to repeat it? This is where our battle starts.
Boink. Did you hear that?
No?
There was a little boink.
Did he doink her on the head?
He may be. I don't know. What? Ow, 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 ow! Sorry. That's fine. I'll answer. Oh? What is happening? These 6 are all dead. Kinzo, Genji, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, and Kumasawa.
Now Beatrice is getting the cool protagonist
Yeah.
music because Battler finally has help. Why are you so out of it? Okay. So I've already got one out of you. We'll start by denying that classic trick where the victims are playing dead.
I won't go easy on you anymore. Come at me how you like. I'll slice them slantwise, one after another.
Then repeat this. No one is hiding in any of the 6 rooms. Let's see you deny the existence of people we aren't aware of.
I'll answer. There is no one hiding in the 6 rooms.
Okay. Now I'm sure it's only the 6 of them in the can. And they aren't pretending to be dead.
What will you do? What will you do? As if a human could manage anything by now. Obediently kneel to the fact that I can control locks at will with my wonderful magic. Okay?
Quit babbling. Repeat this too. The 6 deaths were instant deaths.
Instant deaths? Oh, what do you mean by that?
It means there's a possibility that a single victim on the verge of death managed to escape into the room. And after locking it from the inside to create a closed room, they passed away.
They can be locked from the inside. Or maybe they can't. She might say it in red.
A classic closed room murder trick. One requiring that the victim receive a fatal wound and then die later. It is possible for a closed room to be constructed unexpectedly if the victim holds up inside the room to escape the murderer, and then dies after locking the door.
In order to deny that possibility, you will need to proclaim that the 6 died instantly with the red truth.
I love the ensemble cast we get in Purgatory now.
I also very much enjoy the ensemble people in Purgatory. I like them a lot.
Very well, very well. I'll slay you with my red treasured sword. Dang. The 6 died instantly. By died instantly, I mean the targets instantly became incapable of action after being attacked.
I feel like, because this feels like it's going so smoothly right now, like they're just going thing to thing, for some reason I feel like Battler is pulling her into a trap using her desire to want to play the game to get her to just continue saying things in red so he can get more proof as this goes on. That's my running theory right now, because it seems like this is going much faster than any other one we've done so far in terms of like evidence revealing and stuff.
It could also just be that these 2 are getting better at the game.
Maybe they're just getting better at the game. I don't know.
Well, it might still have taken them several seconds or minutes to die in the complete sense of the word. But regardless, it was completely impossible for them to take any actions of their own will. In that sense, I can confirm that they suffered instant deaths.
Up until this point, I've just been checking for the classic tricks. Now's when our showdown over the closed rooms really starts, okay?
Oh gosh.
If the culprit isn't on the inside, they're on the outside. So they somehow killed from outside the rooms.
Have you lost your mind? After all, a closed room equals murder that is impossible from the outside, right? That's why only a magical murder would be possible.
No, that's wrong. The right approach is a murder really happened equals it isn't a closed room. No matter how much you try to trick me, that definitely isn't a closed room. It's a sham that only looks like one.
However, Battler saw. Oh, he's using red. I mean, he's done it before, but still. Only the victims are inside the rooms, and no other people exist inside the rooms. And by Milady's closed room definition, remote murders from outside the room have been clearly denied, have they not?
Wait. The definition of remote murders is pretty broad, right? It's not just about pulling a fishing line from outside the room and strangling the victim inside the room. For example, a trap would make for an excellent remote murder.
A trap? Oh, and what might that be?
Landmine. I like to imagine all the adults in the dining hall and you just hear a ridiculously loud explosion and they're all like, nope, not checking. Not
She says, oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Just as an example, let's say they were instructed to enter rooms that someone had picked out beforehand and lock the doors from the inside to create the closed rooms themselves. A trap was set up in those rooms that they didn't know about. And that's what killed them. How's that? That doesn't contradict anything. There are no problems. It corresponds to the existing state.
There are no problems on our side either. They're just like refs.
Yeah, I was about to say they're the referees now for the two.
Or they're more like divorce attorneys, if I'm being honest. But anyway. It does not conflict with Milady's closed room definition.
What's with that stupid reasoning? Nothing suspicious was found in any of the rooms, right? What form did that trap have? Where was it hidden, and how did it operate? Explain that for all 6 of them, in the parlor, the guest room, the waiting room, the VIP room, the boiler room, and the chapel.
He doesn't have to. He just has to explain that it could exist.
Well, you can't, can you?
I refuse to counter that. There's no need for me to explain. And failing to do so doesn't damage my claim.
What did you say?
Beatrice, it's a devil's proof. The fact that he cannot explain the nature of the trap does not in itself deny the existence of such a trap.
Well done. Well, overbearing and wonderful move.
This guy's getting completely used to this.
Check. Due to murder trap X that we couldn't find, it'd be possible to establish this closed room murder.
I'll kill that check with the red truth. The 6 were not killed by traps.
And the definition of a trap?
Oh. That's it. Something that activates when a victim triggers it on their own. Oh, and that's not all. It also includes things activated by remote control or by a timer. Everything of that sort.
Okay, so no jigsaw type Rube Goldberg
Nope.
machines, which is the theory that I was proposing.
So it refers to all arrangements that could carry out a murder without the direct participation of the one who planned it out. Perhaps we might sum it up that way.
How's that? I've struck back. As if I'd let a human crush this closed room.
She's getting soft. You're looking pretty frantic to win, too.
What? What do you mean?
you're frantically fighting to make me accept your existence. Until now, I thought I was just being toyed around with by you one-sidedly. But that's not actually true. You're also frantically resisting my counters, fighting to show that you exist. Now, I finally really feel that it's true. This isn't torture inflicted on me over whether I'll surrender or not. This is a fight between you and me on an even footing. Okay, and now it's starting to get interesting, isn't it? All 6 died in closed rooms and no outsiders were inside, and there was no meddling from the outside and also no traps. Up until now, I'd probably start suspecting that this had to be the work of magic. And if you decided to show off some bizarre magic at this moment, I might have even surrendered. It's that favorite strategy of yours. You intercept all my moves, and in the moment I've exhausted all options and fallen to my knees, when my heart's barriers are at their weakest, you show off some strange magic and take the game all at once.
That short temper is something this child has always had, along with a bad habit of rushing things when victory is in sight.
After all, Milady cannot stand putting off a match.
Hey, shut up, shut up!
It's Battler's turn, right? I finished off that trap piece you advanced. What should I repeat next? Show me what you've got.
Right. Now that even traps have been defeated, this looks like a perfect closed room murder at a glance. And that's why I'll spin the chessboard around right now.
Ooh.
It's been a minute since we've gotten one of those.
Yeah. Here it comes, that special technique of yours. How exactly are you going to spin what around? Try showing me.
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't need to think of how 6 people could be killed inside closed rooms from the outside. It's useless. It's useless. It's all useless. That's right. The question isn't how you can kill from the outside of the rooms. The point is how they died inside the rooms, making them closed rooms. That's it. This is the answer. They all died of natural causes. No.
True.
If you assume that one of the 6 victims was the culprit, this closed room can be explained extremely easily.
What?
That was also something I was thinking of earlier, but I didn't want to put it forward just to be like, yeah, also one of them is the culprit, and so there's no danger or suspense at all now because they also died.
Ridiculous. I believe I clearly said in red that the 6 of them were dead.
Oh, there were 6 deaths. 5 were victims who got killed. But if you assume that the other person committed suicide, you can destroy this closed room. That's exactly what I should have said that earlier. Dang it. I should have said it. I was just like, nah, that one's so outlandish that I'm not even gonna bring it up. I really am Battler pilled. Dang.
Yeah? Certainly. If the culprit locked themselves in the final closed room and threw away their own life, this closed room chain would be established.
The suicide of the culprit. Normally, it would be an unthinkable move. But the argument that the unthinkable cannot exist cannot be used. And he has no responsibility to demonstrate a motive. A truly powerful move which can only be used in a chess match against a witch.
Well, one cannot be certain that there was no motive. For example, it has been announced that Kinzo only had a short time left to live.
He killed the 5 of them and then died of natural causes.
Perhaps he did not regret losing his short remaining life and used his own death to send a message. It might be possible to attach such a motive.
Dang. Committing suicide by lighting yourself on fire is quite
It said
a way.
he died before that.
Oh, okay.
In the thingy. Milady, it is our turn.
Indeed. To think you'd trample even the dignity of the dead to create a culprit. What a heartless, cold-blooded man.
Oh, how the turntables.
Right?
I'll set up the dead as the culprit. This worse than inhuman move is one you used to attack Kanon-kun in the last game. Even though the games are different, I'm taking a shot back at you with this move, as a tribute to Kanon-kun for that time. Just now, I freed that Kanon-kun from his regrets.
Ah!
You have no responsibility to hold back here. You should try to confirm that suicide wasn't the cause of any of their deaths. I recommend that you have that child repeated in red.
Right. But suicide's a naive word that won't corner her. Beato, this'll stop you. Repeat it. The 6 deaths were all homicides.
That is painful.
Oh.
What's wrong? All 6 of them were killed, right? I'm just confirming that simple premise we've had from the very beginning. Right? Can't you repeat it?
I refuse to repeat it. There's no reason in particular.
You realize that refusing to repeat this part in this is the same as resigning, right? Checkmate. One of the 6 was the culprit, and they planned to commit suicide after constructing the closed room. That's all.
Wait. No, I'll say it. I'll use the red like you want. None of the 6 committed suicide.
Ah, that's not how he wanted. That's not how he wanted.
How's that? Are you satisfied? I've struck back.
What the hell? So you can say it. No, Battler, think back to what you just said. You specifically changed the wording so that she wouldn't say the suicide thing. She didn't say that all 6 of them were homicides. But that's strange. Why are you so panicky?
It's your imagination. This time, even I'm feeling the pressure. That's right. I don't have any leeway. Pay it no mind.
The line you ask that child to repeat has been altered. Do not be fooled.
Ah!
It seems not to have worked, milady.
It would have if Virgilia wasn't here.
Yeah.
That's right. She didn't say the 6 deaths were all homicides. She changed it to none of the 6 committed suicide. Which means one of them wasn't killed by someone else and didn't commit suicide. So they died via accident? I've got it! This is the truth. Culprit X, who was hiding among the 6, murdered the other 5 and then set up a closed room. After that, they planned to escape from or hide in that room by some method. However, they got in an accident. Yeah, that's the only thing it could be. The culprit died from an accident that even they hadn't expected, setting up a closed room murder that even they hadn't desired. Now it's over, Beatrice. Checkmate.
Damn it! Did you think I'd be cornered by something like that? I'd never announce my resignation over something like that. I'll slice up that foolish checkmate with my red treasured sword over and over again. None of the 6 died an accidental... Boing.
My apologies. We request some time to strategize. Please allow us a brief postponement on this matter.
Dang.
It's a fair request. Perhaps you should accept it.
Sure. Take a break. I've been giving those a lot lately. Now it's your turn to take one.
Thank you very much. Come, milady, this way. And let us quietly count to 100 inside our heads.
Calm down.
Yeah.
You're losing it in front of Battler. Ronove quickly covered Beato's mouth with his hand as she grew thoroughly panicked and agitated, suspending the game. He pulled Beato away, supposedly to hold a strategy conference.
Dread of the Grave, Battler's theme.
Wow. That was fun. I liked that.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved the big witch battle last stream, but these logic battles are what I live for.
That was great. That was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Damn. That demon butler. When Beato got all hot, I had a perfect chance to corner her. Watch how you're wording that, buddy. Beato normally acted like she was graceful and above it all, but she actually had a really short temper and got mad easily. Yeah, it's just up until this point, you have not been able to run up that short path that is her temper.
Yeah.
Her usual intellect had less of a voice when she got excited. Ronove certainly is thinking clearly. He probably gave your opponent some time to cool down. That child grew too stubborn trying to remove your check, and was about to easily let several large pieces go. After all, the first twilight is only a skirmish. The correct move at that time would have been to withdraw. So, what does it mean? Did I reach checkmate, or didn't I? That child was about to say something in red. You probably wouldn't have reached checkmate yet, but most likely you can expect our opponents to resign once they've cooled their heads. You're joking. Even though she hates losing that much. Yes. In a losing battle, it is essential to withdraw your troops as soon as possible to try and minimize your losses. The difficult part is gauging whether it's a losing battle or not. Your opponent's butler seems to have calmly made that decision. Oh, well. In other words, she managed to escape by a hair's breadth. Getting checkmate and delivering the final blow won't be that easy for me. However, you should count this as your victory. It seems they barely managed to prevent a large loss, but they certainly sustained considerable damage. The scale of that child's panic ought to make the depths of that wound quite clear to you. Seriously. It feels like she'd start crying if I bullied her anymore. Flash cut to every time Battler started crying.
Yeah.
As we
This
talked,
is so funny.
Ronove returned with Beato, who wore a meek expression.
My butler put me in timeout.
Yeah. She didn't yet have her usual bold smile, but it looked like the blood wasn't rushing to her head anymore. Hey. It's your turn. Did you decide on your next move?
I resign. For now, I will let you have your victory.
Beato told me that frankly. It seemed she'd taken a far-sighted view, as though saying, if you want to laugh, then laugh. It was a bit of a killjoy, and I lost my desire to deliver the final blow. Well, now that you've resigned, that just means we're even, since my theory and yours can't deny each other. You should treat it more like a tie than a loss.
I don't need your disgusting sympathy. I'm telling you that I lost this round. When you find a dog drenched with rain, do you have a sudden urge to whack it with a stick or something?
Nope. I'm not you. Even though she ridiculed me horribly when I showed signs of defeat, this is the best she's got when the tables are turned. I did feel that was pretty cowardly of her,
but I decided to act with dignity as the victor and let it slide. Beato resigned. That's the one result of the first twilight. Beatrice couldn't counter my move of one of the 6 was the culprit, and that person died in an accident, the goofy-eyest way that it could have been done.
Mm-hmm.
No, she probably could have countered it, but for some strategic reason she admitted defeat. It felt less like I'd won, and more like I'd let her slip away at the last second. In a chess match with a witch, battles can be fought solely with pieces known as X, which require no detailed explanations. Thanks to the Devil's Proof, I could create as many strange fictions as I wanted and use them as fighters in our argument. But that only works in a chess match with a witch. In our human world, you can't use such abstract theories to explain things. This first twilight was a chain of 6 closed rooms. It certainly may have been possible for a human. Beato wasn't able to deny all possibilities. However, I don't have a clue who committed the crime, or why, or how they actually did it. It may seem strange to hear me saying this after I won, but for some reason, I felt like I'd have been more satisfied if Beatrice had been able to say definitively that it was impossible for humans. I managed to avoid specifics using an abstract piece called X, but I couldn't deny the sense that some eerie intent that must never be known was filling up this entire mansion.
Something she's not saying.
Oh. Okay.
It's 9.
It's staying 9. It's...
Yup. Alright, so...
Oh, yeah, I was
Here's the
also going to
question.
say, this is probably a good place to cut it.
Yeah, because we're going to start another chapter, and it's a biggin'. So...
So, yeah.
The first twilight is over.
First twilight do be over.
Mm-hmm. And Battler is winning? Question mark?
He's at least not losing.
Yeah. The
For
Brawn
once.
Tubes.
The Brawn Tubes.
Beatrice is absolutely losing, though. That can be said with certainty.
Beatrice is falling apart, bro. She's
What happened? What
not
went so
used to
wrong?
having someone push back. She's falling
all
apart
went
at the
so
first
wrong.
sign of an actual competent strategy from Battler for once.
Oh.
I'm sure
Me,
she'll
I'm gonna
rebound.
be-
She'll readjust now that she's
Yeah.
getting used to him actually being able to push back now. So I'm sure she'll come back around.
I'm gonna rewatch the part where Battler said, "What battle?"
Yeah, that was really
too
good.
good. What?
What are you talking about? What are you...
Oh. Gaslighting has never been so back.
And it works within the
It
rules of the
did.
game.
It does.
The way to win is
Oh.
simply gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, Battler. Okay, here's my theory-ish that I have about the reality, not reality thing, right? So, obviously there's a lot of supernatural going on in this.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been many mentions of hell, of demons, of gods. As of more recently, though, especially in episode 3, it's been pointed at this being like some kind of purgatory-esque kind of thing. And with the analogies to Dante's Inferno that have been only getting more and more present with Virgilia, I am working under the assumption right now that there's our reality and that there is like some kind of perhaps magic reality where like many of the
faiths, or not even faiths, but like mythologies of the world intersect in the same place, because the Norse gods have been invoked, Greek gods have been invoked, Christian symbolism has been invoked a lot. And those all seem to be things that witches are very heavily inundated with. Which brings me to the point of, like, I'm also beginning to see, I think, how the Red Truth works. Because now that we know that there are two truths at play at all times, that's the reason why, even though, yes, all of these crimes could be done completely by magic, there are things that Beatrice can't say in the Red Truth because the not magic truth contradicts that. So even though it could all just be done by magic, there is another truth at play that the Red Truth cannot work against, which is how she is still restrained, even in the fact that it is possible for all of these things to have been done by magic. I think. And obviously you're not going to tell me if I'm right or not, but that's what I'm working under the assumption of right now. I still don't know too much how the two different, like, realities thing, how that's going to play into all of it necessarily, or like how, where that importance lies in it. But that's what my working theory in my head right now is that the magic reality, so to speak, the gremlins and the brawn tubes, is like the general agreed upon mythologies of humanity over the course of human history. So like religions that were widely practiced at one point are gonna be real to an extent and have stuff going on with that.
Well, you've got something cooking, that's for sure.
It's something. And also,
Just you wait.
little bit of a working theory, but I don't have much to back it up, of like with the Dante's Inferno analogies. If I'm remembering correctly, because it's been a really long time since I've read Dante's Inferno, because I believe the last time I did was in high school. Well, not even Inferno, this would be Purgatorio based off of what I'm doing. In Purgatorio, Dante is being led by Virgil, I think, still. I don't remember. He might not be being led anymore by Virgil. I'm not sure. Through Purgatory to get to the top, which is where his GF is. Dante's beloved is at the top of Purgatory. And so Virgil takes him up there to meet her, and then she takes him to heaven and leads him through heaven. So if Virgilia is Virgil, then I am assuming Battler is Dante, if this analogy is what is happening. I'm not sure if Beatrice, I don't remember what the name of Dante's girlfriend is, but I'm not sure if that's what Beatrice is supposed to be or if she's supposed to be something else. It seems like perhaps they're gearing up for maybe a more amicable relationship between the two of them now, because Beatrice is kind of starting to get attached to Battler, it seems like. So I'm not sure.
Do you want to know what Dante's girlfriend's name is?
Yes.
Beatrice.
I'm a genius. Ain't no way. Oh, I'm so small. We're so back. We're so back. The gears are turning again, everyone. It's been 3 episodes. But the gears are finally turning up there, and I'm starting to cook again. Oh, okay. Okay. I need to bring myself down. I need to not be like Beatrice. I need to calm down. Because that's going to lead me into mistakes if I just assume that everything I'm thinking is right. It might not be right. But that's a leading indicator that I have something going on up there. Okay. All right. Well, I've said my piece.
All right. But we'll see how much your theories hold true as we continue to read. Things are going to be changing soon. The meta is going to change big time soon.
Which, if that's the case... Okay, one more thing before we go, although I have no bounds for this at all. But if there is a lot of Dante's works analogies going on, and if this is Purgatorio, I'm gonna make a guess right now that Answers Arcs is gonna be like the analogy to the heaven one, which I forget what it's called, but when they're in heaven, but it's probably not gonna be as nice as that one. It's probably not gonna be like all the, oh, we're in heaven and everything's great and awesome and here's all these people who are in heaven, but it's gonna be like there's gonna be allusions to it, just like there's allusions to Purgatorio. That's the guess I'm making right now. I might be completely wrong. It might just all be Purgatorio, or it might not be, or it might be I'm drawing way too many conclusions right now. But that's where we'll go ahead and end today's stream. Anything else for the Peanut Gallery before we go, Pertuset?
Let's see. New Elden Ring finale drops tomorrow.
Watch out for Spoilers. That. Yeah.
Symphony of the Night continues Tuesday and hopefully ends.
Hopefully.
Podcast on Wednesday. Terranria on Thursday. And more Umineko next Sunday, I think.
Should be more.